Yo, what's going on? Welcome to the show. This is Audibly Fat. God damn it, my stomach is rumbling. As soon as I hit record, it's like you guys will probably hear it throughout the episode. Don't know what's going on. It's been going on since I got home from work. Can't quite figure out why. Don't have to shit, but came home and hung out with the dogs, hit a pre-workout, yabba dabba doo. Went out and exercised. I don't call it working out. I don't really call it working out because, I'm not, I don't know, man. I'm not, I'm just moving around in my big-ass garage, doing stupid shit, trying to get the heart rate going, want to stay alive because, the thesis of the show is Audibly Fat. You can hear how fat I am because I am a fat tub of shit, and I don't want to be, and I want to be around. I want to have children. I want to stick around and get old with my wife. These are all new thoughts. These are all within the last, year or two of my life. Really in the last, since COVID, really, should I even say that word? Did that just, kick me out of the algorithm saying that word? Since, saying he in in the wow in March of 2020. I don't know. I watched this video. I was watching this video the other day. It was like, you watch these murder ones. These some YouTuber and he was bleeping himself, and then he was like subbing other words for other words, and it was just like silly. And especially what he was talking about, he's talking about a triple homicide, like some Chris Benoit type shit. See, out of the algorithm again. And he's just like, like a Notorious B.I.G. song on the radio back in, 1996, it's just cut out, it's weird. So yeah, I know it'll kick me out. So can I even say that? But ever since then, yeah, my life's been ever since COVID. since it's coincidentally since I quit becoming a chef. That's why I don't know when I quit the restaurants. Obviously, I hate restaurants. I can still go on, dude. I listen back to those, and it's like, oh man, it sounds so negative because there's so many people that are great cooks, and I have great friends that still are cooks and still are chefs and still work in kitchens, but man, like, very few people who've ever had a career in a kitchen would hear me and disagree. They definitely see where that perspective, and that's just like a event, man. Like, if you've ever lived with a cook or known cooks or gone to bars with cooks or hung out after, you've heard cooks talk like that. You hear anybody talk like that at any job, that's nothing special. But yeah, I listened back to it and I was like, damn, I had nothing nice to say about, I have great respect for food and love for food and good people that cook good food and are nice and are fair, and you know what I mean. And like, there's some restaurants around here that I love and I root for, and I don't want to see hurt, and that are being hurt. But a lot of them, man. Cynically, I definitely think the way that I spoke in those last two episodes. Definitely, yeah, that my brain works that way. Logically, yeah, it all lays out that way for me. But do I feel that way about a lot of people in restaurants? Like, no, because there's a difference between what you think and you feel. I don't know if I've talked about all of that on this show. I should probably listen back and catch up because there's been like I've started these over the last, what is it, like 4 months, 5 months maybe, and it's been sporadic, with moving and packing and then getting COVID and then shopping for houses and then moving and getting a house and then coming here and then coming here and not having time, moving in and then record. And then my sister came to town, from another continent, and I think literally 10 minutes after I ended the last episode, And she was here for, 5, 6 days, and then and then I just took the week off from work, and I just hung out with my wife, and I didn't really, you know, have anything to bitch about. So I just hung out, man. I didn't really, but my point is that they've been sporadic. But actually, what was my point even? What even was my point? Do I have to go back and listen? I can't go back and listen. I don't know what the fuck my point was. Um, but yeah, it's a lot of things have happened since the beginning of the big C word, not cancer, the other one, the new cancer, the uh, um, it's coincidentally been since I left restaurants, and it's just my life balanced out. I didn't realize, I was living. It's a young man's game, and I'm a little older. I'm 32, and it's just, I mean, it's still, I'm young enough to do it, but it's just like, what do you want out of life? What lifestyle do you want? Do you want a young single man's lifestyle, or do you want to like settle down and have a family and spend time with dogs and a wife and get a house and hang out and have dinner and have people over, and just live a normal life? Do you want to do that, or do you want to fucking, rip bowls in the back of a restaurant, you know, and then bitch at your pantry cook because he didn't take his apron off before he came out to smoke with you? And like at some point it's like, yeah, I don't really want to wash potatoes. I don't really want to make another order. I don't really want to look in your low boy and figure out what the fuck you did wrong. I don't care. So I went back to corporate America. This time, I quit being a chef and went and got a license. God damn, my stomach, dude. God damn. What is that? I tried to shit. Not farting, not shitting. And it's because I'm trying not to eat as much, man. Last night I try not to eat late, and I'm just like, my buddy's like, what the fuck are you doing? You're a grazer. You never stop eating. You literally never stop eating. You don't eat huge meals, but you just never stop all day. You just have something in your mouth all day. You have an oral fixation, as they say, as cigarette smokers say, or girls that like to give head. I have an oral fixation. What was I saying? But yeah, restaurants. I mean, I left and joined the corporate world, and when I left restaurants, it's like, man, like all of a sudden, like after a couple of weeks, I could think clearly. I wasn't fucking, like I went like 80 something days without a day off, man. Like it was ridiculous opening a restaurant, and at that point, I was already disillusioned before I took that job from restaurants, and I thought being in charge of a restaurant would make me better. It's like, what is that Jacob's Ladder or what? There's like something I read. I don't know what it was, but the only way out of hell is further in. So I live by that philosophy, the Joey Diaz philosophy. If you're walking on ice, you might as well dance. I literally tell people that all the time. I live like that. Like fuck it. I mean, we're here now. Yeah. When I first started that guy 12, 14 years ago, I was like, God damn, dude. It's like the crazy uncle I never had. I should have had. I was always talking like this as a kid, and they looked at me like I was a lunatic. It was like, oh, wow. You are a psycho. But yeah, man, went and got a license. Hadn't had a license in a decade. Drove across the country, moved across the country without a license. Drove multiple cars without a license for 10 years. I got my license suspended in 2009. Yeah, license suspended 2009. And then I remember going to court back in the Contra Costa County, back in Martinez. I think they might have sent me to Pittsburgh or Antioch, maybe. I went to court, and they were like, yeah, this is you're gonna go on a payment plan. They looked at me and pulled up in my Lincoln Town car. I pulled up in my car, wanted to know how to get my license unsuspended in a 94 Lincoln Town car with the left headlight blown out, the blinker dangling from a fucking wire, literally the blinker bulb exposed and dangling. It still worked. It was legal. Go fuck yourself. All gray. silver with a maroon interior with all the paint peeling off and chipping in the back. It has a. If you know anything about cars, like me, like I fucking don't. I hate cars. I think people that are into cars are weird. You're kind of like, you know what I think? Guys that are into cars are like girls that are into horses. I'm good. They're a little sus. There's something a little off. You go talk to them and then they just wander. You go talk to that chick and then you talk to a horse girl if you ever date a horse girl, or you're talking to a horse girl, or you're fucking a horse, whatever. And then all of a sudden you'll be like, hey, where'd you go? You said we were gonna meet up at the local, watering hole, and then you didn't. Oh, and she's like, oh, it's just had to go to the stables. Had to go. She did, when that chick disappears for a couple days because they had to go to the stables. In the same way, the guys that are into cars, you'll be talking and it'll be a party, and then they just they'll have a beer and they'll stand there with one hand in the pocket, one hand with the beer, kind of nodding, smiling, but you could tell they're disassociating. They're not really listening. And then all of a sudden they disappear, and you're kind of like, hey, where'd they go? They're probably outside ripping a cig. No, they're outside cranking. They got the hood up and they're pointing something out, or they're pulling on a belt, or they're just, they can't help but go fidget with the fucking, they had to go tinker with some shit. And so yeah, I'm not really into that. But anyway, so if you know anything about cars, you know that Lincolns have air suspension, and my Lincoln Town car, the suspension was out at this point. It completely bottomed out. There was no air. It didn't work in the hydraulics. So my back end was, if I sat in the front, I'm so heavy that I could kind of offset it. And other than going down, like, coming out of the Caldecott Tunnel, going west into the city, there's this huge dip. Anybody who's from the Bay knows what I'm talking about. That would bottom me out. There's a couple spots, there was a spot over by kind of by my grandpa's house by G Street. I could bottom out in Antioch. Yeah, there's places I'd bottom out. Anywhere in Oakland, I'd bounce. That motherfucker would just whop, 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 pop, 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 and it'd be hitting the tires. Like the frame of the car would, the shell of the car would go zzz, 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 and it'd be just fucking, dude. Especially 880. Oh man. Anyways, I pull up to DMV, and that motherfucker, airbags, riding dirty. And she looked at me and was like, you're going to have to go on a payment plan. I was just like, what? And then it was a few grand, and it was a speeding ticket from 2009, and it's like 2010 at this point. And I'm like, fuck. Well, keep it going, walking on ice, you might as well dance. And dude, I kept that riding, and then I had my license physically had it, using it for bars and shit. And then it expired in 2011. So my license expired in 2011. So had I even paid it, it was going to expire anyways. I was going to have to restart. Hey. And at that point, I wasn't going to pay it. Now it's expired, so I'm behind even more. And and there's only so much time you can let it expire without having, renewed before you have to retest all over again. So once 6 months after 2000, not paying it 2011, which is only a year after going to quote unquote court, you realize, what's the fucking point? Gives a shit. And and I've been pulled over a lot at this point in my life. By 2011, I had been pulled over a lot, man. And a lot of my friends growing up were POCs. Is that woke? I don't see how that's fucking woke. How that's like appropriate to call people. African Americans or black people POCs. Like, it's just like saying colored people. I mean, I don't know what to call them. Blacks is. I mean, what do you call them? I mean, what do you say? I mean, it's at this point, I don't even know what to do anymore. Like, it's just, POCs just sounds like, you sound like a POS. Like, people of color, just call them colored people. Call them colored. Like, it's just ridiculous. Anyways, I had a lot of black friends growing up, and I've been pulled over with them. I've been handcuffed with them. I've been pulled out of the car, handcuffed, set down on the curb, and my car ripped apart in the middle of the night because we're driving in the rich neighborhood, smoking Black and Milds, looking at the rich houses, talking about life in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? I've been pulled over in nice neighborhoods with black people and been treated and then I've been in the same car by myself doing the same thing in the same neighborhood at the same time, and nothing happened to me. So I understood that. I've understood my whole life before, I was, I don't know. I didn't grow up with my fucking head in the sand. I grew up I thought all of America was this giant melting pot. I grew up I didn't realize till I moved to the Vanilla Valley, Colorado. I don't know if I've ever said this on here, but I didn't know that I moved here. How many white people, like real thoroughbred Nebraska, my grandaunt married her first cousin white. I didn't know there were that many at a concentrated level until I moved here, because I grew up in the Bay Area, and anybody who grew up there, it's a fucking melting pot. I know certain cities have more of, each demographic. There's some towns where there's more blacks, more Mexicans, more whites, more Samoan cats. There's just more Pacific. There's some fucking high schools like in like Pinole and Richmond that are like entirely Filipino. You know what I mean? So it's like, but knowing that, I didn't realize till I got here, and I traced my steps through every age, other than like maybe like a handful of people that were like close associates, and then realistically, I think genuinely I traced my steps, man. It's 2 white guys, one in my when I was a kid in my early 20s and late teens, and then one when I was in middle school. Everyone else was their first gen something, second gen something, all of them, 100%, or they're African American. But it's so weird, or Fijian, or Filipino, or Indian, or from Cyprus, or a Cypriot, or from where was what's his name from, Benji? It was like some Eastern European country. God damn it. What is it called? Fuck. It's one of those little ones. God damn it. It's near Estonia. Fuck. He went back all the time. Him and his dad. His dad was like a DJ. Bald dude from Europe. So, you know what I mean? It's like Slovenian or something. I don't know. It's something. But either way, I didn't realize how many legitimate white people out here. So I leaned on the fact that I was white and in the Bay Area, and that these cops were legitimately afraid of black people. So they're not afraid of me. They're not thinking about me. You know what I mean? I mean, it's fucked up to say, but yeah, that's just the reality of the situation. It just was. It just is. So yeah, man, I rode dirty for a long time. A long time. And it wasn't until literally 2020 that I went and got a driver's license again. From scratch. I had to go get a learner's permit, the whole shit. Like I was 15. I had to take the written. I had to go take the fucking driving test. And then Psycho, Colorado they don't make, some, asshole work at DMV. Because in California, you work for the state. To give a driver's license test, you have to work for the state. And in Colorado, they franchise that shit out. Private companies can authorize driver's licenses in the state, which to me is absolutely bonkers. Like, granted, I hate people at DMV. People at DMV are the worst. Anybody who's dealt with the California Department of Motor Vehicles person knows they're the goddamn worst. They're awful people. They all have wrist braces and a bad attitude. Every now and then you get a couple people that are cool. It's usually the dudes. If you get a black dude in there, or a fucking like a big Samoan cat, or like a chubby Mexican dude, oh man, they're chill as fuck. Like, they're chill as fuck. But you get an old Asian guy, old white guy, you got a problem. Old white guy's like 70-30. Old white guy, 30%, they might be so aloof they couldn't care less. When you take that vision test, they don't give a shit. They don't even look up if you covered both eyes. The other 70% are by the book, and they'll stare right through the back of your fucking skull. and they're very serious. If you miss one thing, if you missed one check, or you come in, shorthanded with one paper, they're gonna make you come back. Hold on a second. Those Kong, you know what a Kong toy is? This goddamn dog, dude, he just loves this thing. Come here. Because it's shaped like a prolapsed asshole. Like somebody's rosebud. Come here. Come here. So that thing's annoying. But yeah, I don't even know what I was saying before that. God damn it. Benji, you son of a bitch. I don't know. Probably something about DMV people. Yeah, those people are awful. They're the worst. But I mean, at least they're vetted. You know what I mean? They had to pass the FBI background check and at least the intelligence exam. They call a piss test. Are you smart enough to buy fake urine and have a drug habit? Or are you dumb enough to piss in this cup with your raw piss? It's just weird getting a license out here from a mom and pop shop. It's just like, wait, why do they have the authority to give licenses out? Like, if your parents owned one of those joints, you'd go around to your high school, be like, bro, do you want a license or what? Like, I mean, go get your permit, play, and I'll give you a license. I mean, I would be charging kids $150. You don't got to take a test, bro. I'll hand you a license. That just, to me, opens up a lot of possibilities. So anyways, yeah, leaving the kitchen, got my shit together, made my life so much better. So maybe that's why when I look back on restaurants, I hate them. I spent 20 minutes talking about why I hate restaurants again, but reasoning it, and just how my life completely changed from night and day. Getting out of that lifestyle, or just out of the kitchen in general. Yeah. You ever wipe? Anyways, I came home, stomach's rumbling, and I'm pretty sure I shit at work this morning. That's why I'm like, wait, I don't have to shit again. I took a shit this morning, and I took a shit at work. Which is the worst? Is anything worse than a public toilet? Like, I mean, you sit like what's worse than a public toilets are awful. But what's worse than that is when you sit down and the fucking seat's warm. Like, oh my God. Like, I cannot express how, like, horrific that is every time. Every time it's so jarring. I feel there's like a broken, like, it's just so fucking revolting. Like, oh, it's like a hug you never wanted. You know what I mean? It's just, get off of me. It's just, because it's just, imagine going butt to butt with somebody. It's just fucking gross, dude. Warm toilet seat, fucking awful. That would be hell. Hell would be me walking around an office building, looking for a way out. Like, say I just ended my shift, or I was a mailman dropping off a package, or I serviced them in some way, and I'm leaving the building. I can't get out of this massive facility, and I have to shit, and so I keep having to shit, and every toilet seat's warm. Like, literally someone just stood up, and you're like, dude, I didn't pass anybody on the way in here. Where the fuck are they? Why is it? It's literally, there's hot. It's hot. There's heat. Like, oh my God, that would be so awful. That and paper cuts between your toes, you just be like, what is this? Pulling out Post-it notes between your toes. Yeah, so I shit at work, and then I come home, and I do my little exercises, pre-workout, post-workout, dabba dabba do, and I run upstairs with the pups, to take a shower, to shake a tit, I call taking a shit shake a tit, and then I call taking a shower shake a tower. So I went up to shake a tower, and then tried to shake a tit, didn't have to tit, so I shook a tower, and I'm in the shower. This is the dumbest thing in the world. I've said it to the little kid. Taking a shower, and you go to wipe your ass, and dude, the amount of fucking debris, that word debris, that fucking just, because you're out on the road, you're in a public toilet, you don't have booty wipes and and your little garbage pail next to your bathroom or your bidet or whatever you got at home to like make sure you're wiping your asshole properly like you should be, because you probably don't. Most people don't. Most Americans don't. This fucking world ended last year. I'm over here getting my life together, finally not wanting to, for the first time legitimately in 3 decades, because before I could remember, I was telling fucking school counselors and shit I didn't want to be alive. So the first time in 3 decades, I'm like excited, stoked to be here, and everyone's like, "Whoa, ah, ah," and then there's no toilet paper. So yeah, you're not using a bidet or booty wipes. You're wiping your ass with toilet paper. But the amount of shit you wipe out of your ass at the end of the day, it's just so fucking wretched, dude. Like, I fucking hate that shit. No one ever talks about this. No one ever, it's just awful. Like, I hate wiping all that shit out of my ass and not having, I did, last pack I got at Costco. Fuck. I gotta take those to work. I got a to-go pack of booty wipes. I need to throw in my backpack. That's on me. But yeah, there's nothing worse than that, man. I'm gonna call he did call me. I'm gonna call my grandpa back real quick here. I'm gonna pause it till I get a hold of him. All right, couldn't get a hold of grandpa, but I'm looking through my phone, the pictures in my phone, and I took a picture. I remembered I took a picture the other day of a shit I took because my wife has a sweet tooth. She works out every day. She's nutrition, she's just her deal. But she has a sweet tooth. And she brought home a pie the other day, or not a pie, a chocolate cake. And it was probably, on sale because it had like a baseball stadium on it, with a bunch of blue and green, green for the grass and all this shit. And you know me, I'm a fat tub of shit, and I can't help myself. So I had, half a cake. And then the next day I'm taking a shit, and dude, my shit was blue. The water was blue. The water looked like blue raspberry lemonade Kool-Aid. Oh, Jesus. What is this? Yeah, it's just god awful. Oh, man. People, they don't tell you this, they never tell you this when you're a kid. You just fed garbage. They sell garbage. Your school lunch is garbage. The vending machines are garbage. It's all garbage. They tell you need to exercise, and they all, and they really enforced milk when I was fucking growing up in the early 90s, really into milk. Really pushed the milk. I'm sure everybody remembers the Got Milk campaign. They really, 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 really pushed milk. So yeah, it's so hard to not eat a half a cake that's gonna make me shit blue. It's just really hard sometimes not to eat that shit. God, my stomach, man. I'm sorry I'm talking about it. I'm sorry I don't know if I need to warn people or what. What is that? I used to listen, I don't really listen to them anymore, but Your Mom's House back in the day, back like early shit when they were on Red Band shit. Didn't they have they called it like brown talk. They would like warn you. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they definitely did. That sounds familiar. I didn't listen to too many shows. There's only a handful of podcasts I've ever really listened to. Yeah, they definitely did that. I'm not going to warn you. It just is what it is. You have a whole episode about shit. How about that? A whole episode about warm toilets, shit, and me not having a license for a decade and leaning on my white privilege to do so. And, yeah. What are you going to do? I got pulled over, a dozen-ish times. At least I can remember, like, if I, like right now already 4, and there's way more than that. 5, so it's minimum of, let's say minimum of like 8, as many as like a dozen or 15. Probably like somewhere between 8 and 12, like 9 or 10 times in all those years. An average of once a year, and it's yeah, you just get out of it. I mean, I always had a script. I always told them that I came up with a script a long time ago, and I always said that, hey man, like I just got clean. I just got sober. I just got out of rehab. I just got a job. I just barely scraped up enough to get this car. I need the car to get to work. I know I need my license, but I need a car to get to work, and it's going to cost me money to get my license back, as your computer should tell you. And I just told him I'm in this perpetual cycle, which, most people are, and life is, and I kind of was. My drug habit was weed, but, weed and food, like, but, and at the time, booze and maybe some, maybe I went skiing from time to time, but yeah, you just lean on that and you get out of it. So white privilege all the way, boys. It's real, and I'm sorry, it's not my fault. It just is what it is. But I just got done watching. When I bought a new house, I got internet. And when you sign up for an internet package to Xfinity, you have to get, there's packages they sell you. It's, so you ended up, the cheapest thing with the fastest internet came with basic cable, and I haven't had cable in over a decade. So I hooked it up in the new house because we got so many rooms. So I just threw it in one of the living rooms. And so every now and then I turn it on, but I turned it on and just flipping through, and dude, the Olympics are going on right now. I'm watching the UFC right now as I'm saying this on mute. We can cut it in
here tonight.
I'm watching TV. The Olympics are going on. Baseball's going on. I'm pretty sure hockey playoffs are going on. And they're showing cornhole. Cornhole's now some sport. And they're talking about this 18-year-old fucking stoic, dead-eyed fucking kid with AirPods in. And they're like, oh, he's a number 2 in the world. He's only 18. I'm like, number 2 at what? This isn't. And I'm like, this is some ESPN, the Ocho shit. You know what I mean? It's that dumb dodgeball shit. I hated that movie when it came out. It's just dodge a wrench. It's just not that funny. Vince Vaughn, I like some of his movies, but that ain't one of them. Yeah, it's not a good movie. But so that's like come to life. So I'm sitting here watching this shit, cornhole, for a couple minutes. I just couldn't believe what the fuck I'm watching. How serious these people are taking it. It's not a joke. And then I cut over. And I changed the channel, just down a couple channels, and there's the World Tag Championship. I want to say it just said. This just happened. And literally, there's people, I see the guy, it's a match starting, and it's 2 dudes with long hair, and they're running through these obstacles. They're playing fucking tag. These are grown men playing tag. And I'm like, dude, what is happening? And then you look, and I'm like, this is some ESPN fucking, and it says ESPN 8, the Ocho, all over the little arena. Oh, I mean, between that and like this celebrity deathmatch boxing shit we got going on nowadays, like, which has been around a long time. I don't know, people pretending like art and culture is dying because Triller. This has been around forever. Celebrities have been punching each other in the face when they run out of money for my whole life on TV. That's how you know they're at rock bottom. That or celebrity rehab. But it's just, I mean, dude, tag, cornhole, and that Triller shit too. Don't even get me started on that. Like, we all know that, like, that we're gonna pretend that they're not washing money there. that they're literally not. That's not somebody washing money. That's somebody like who'd they hire? Like Iggy Azalea and Sweetie and the Black Keys opened one of the biggest bands on planet Earth. Opened the show, and he had like Mario Lopez. Like, get the dude. Somebody's washing money over there. I don't know who it is, but they're washing money. Yeah, it's just weird, dude. I just saw that, and I can't. Like, I know it's like a trope now because of like Reddit and all these things to be like, Idiocracy is a documentary, and but it kind of is. You know, it's only a trope because it's only hacky because it's like true. Like, it's like, fuck, dude. Like, we really are just rapidly decelerating. Like, I tweeted the other day that my fucking cell phone just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. My service gets worse and worse and worse. Isn't technology supposed to get better? Like, and then Verizon responds to me like, fuck off. The dumbest shit. What are you going to do? Give me $5 off if I put myself on a 30-year auto pay? Yeah. I mean, good for that kid playing cornhole. You're on ESPN. You're an athlete. But it's just, what is happening? Like, you know, like it's bad. It's, I think what's amplifying the absurdity of it is the Olympics themselves. Like, where we have to pretend that 70% of that shit is a sport once every 4 years, and it's not. Like, no one gives a shit about gymnastics. No one couldn't care less. No one can care. No one, if it wasn't for these controversies, no one would know these people. No one would know who the fuck a Simone Biles is if the bitch didn't get the yips. Like, you know, like, no one would know who you are. No one would know who Apollo Antonono is if he wasn't Yoko's kid. You know, it was John Lennon's kid. That's the only reason we gave a shit. You know, no one would know who Christy Yamaguchi is if the bitch they didn't put her in Charlie's Angels right after that with Cameron Diaz and Drew Barrymore. No one would know who Bruce Jenner is if he didn't cut his dick off and change his name. All right, well, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a good one. Don't drive down the PCH and kill anybody. Don't, yeah, just have fun. Have a good day. Don't stop me now, because I'm having a good time. Isn't that a Freddie Mercury quote? Great quote. Don't stop me now because I'm having a good time. And these are all just jokes. Disclaimer, I'm just kidding. Love everybody. White privilege is the worst. I don't condone it. I don't condone any privilege. We should all be equal and be judged by the content of our character, not by the color of our skin. I truly believe that the content of the individual character is what matters. So it works both ways. No one's evil. White heterosexual males aren't evil, and neither is anyone else. No one's evil just by how you were born. Let's judge everybody by who they are, not where their genealogy is from. All right. I'm going to get out of here.